Good afternoon, this is your Coach Renz coming to you. We're talking today about what things mean to you, understanding the signals of things. You see, we have sometimes our perspective, our perceived value of things can be off. How we relate to things that happen in our life can be off. They're off because we have pain in our life, and then we take that pain and we make it mean that we're not good enough. We make it mean that we didn't try hard enough. We make it mean that we don't deserve it. We make it mean that we should run. We make it mean that the door is closed. We make it mean so many things that takes us away from our greatness. So many things that don't allow us to expand ourselves to become the person that you deserve to be, that you believe that you are, that you talk about who you are. You talk about these things. You want to speak these things into existence, but yet you allow pain, emotional pain, physical pain, to mean to you that you shouldn't have it, or you shouldn't do it, or you should quit, or you should stop. If a woman is having a baby, she has labor pains. Those labor pains does not mean that she should stop having the baby. It means that she's about to birth the baby. Now understand, you don't necessarily have to go through pain every time you want to birth something new into your life. Not everything comes through struggle. And that's a signal that we've been sending out, that people have been receiving, that you hear when you go to your religious center. You hear when you go to work. You hear it at college, that if something is worth having, that it has to come with some level of struggle. And not everything has a level of struggle. Yeah, you might have to work for it, but does that mean that the work has to be a struggle? Does that mean that you have to go through emotional turmoil in order for that to happen? No, most of the time you're creating the turmoil yourself, because you're not seeing things in the right light. You're not understanding it in a sense that the signals that are going to your brain is saying that, no, this is part of the glory of it. This is part of acquiring it. This is part of my joy. You see, when you get up in the morning and you're doing a work that you love it, you like it, there is no pain in building your business or building your income. Speaking of income, so I was talking to somebody some years ago about budget, and they felt like having a budget was a painful experience to them. They felt like having a budget enslaved them. But I started to teach them that having a budget, and by saving 10% of every dollar that you bring in, that as you see that 10% grow, then you have a new pep in your step. You will feel more accomplished. You will know that you're able to do certain things. And I'm just going to tell you, it's nice to have some money in the bank. When you got money in the bank, you feel more confident. You feel more relaxed. You have less stress. You're more energetic. Things seem, the sky seems brighter when there's a dark cloud out. You feel this way. Why? Because it's there, but it took that budget to get it there. And if you look at the budget, if the signals that you have of, if I get on a budget, I'm going to, yes, there are things, I'm not going to waste money on things that don't mean anything. I'm going to be able to save money. I'm going to be able to invest money. I'm going to be able to take that small amount and let it grow, and as it grows, it will then go out and become a river of gold back to me, because every time it goes out, it comes in, I'm going to send it back out, and it comes in, and I'm going to send it back out until it's a river of gold that completely sustains my life to the standard that I have chosen. You will have such a level of confidence. You will have such a level of joy. But if you're trying to do this, but every time you set that 10% aside, you say, I am a slave to this 10%. I am restricting myself because I'm not worthy to be able to maintain this 10%, that it must be, you put any kind of negative connotation to it, then you're turning something that could be great into something that's horrible because of your perception of it. And when you change your perception of things, then all things change. All things change. Everything in this world changes as soon as you make the mental transformation in your mind, and then you follow that with action. Follow it with action. Now, I know some of you are thinking law of attraction on that. Later, I'm going to do an entire video based on the full conception and understanding of the law of attraction, and actually how there are multiple laws within the law of attraction that allows for that to happen. And I'm going to break it down in a way based on relationships, so that people can stop having these bad relationships and start having good relationships. And you know, I recently went over this with a friend of mine, and I mean, the revelations were amazing. But let's start here first, and let's start here with changing what things mean to us. You're riding in traffic right now, more than likely. It's about 5 o'clock. You're riding in traffic. I've seen some people riding in traffic, and most of them are, their faces all scrunched up and everything, and they're looking all mean and mad. And to them, they're relating traffic as this horrible thing that's slowing down their life, is stealing time from their lives. And why do all these people live in the same direction that I live in? Because, I mean, you chose to live in a nice place. They want to live in a nice place as well. But you're complaining, you're arguing about being in traffic. But then I'll see that one person, they got their music playing, they jamming, they singing their song, they're dancing, they're having a good time. Traffic to them means that they have an opportunity to have fun. You know, or there are those like me, you might be in traffic and you're listening to different CDs on personal development and personal transformation, because I'm always looking to make myself better. You know, that's the hard thing about being a person who transform other people's lives, is that you're always in a state of transformation yourself. But I'm listening to different people, different CDs, different philosophies, different, you know, ancient cultures and different things like that. And I'm having a great time, because when traffic is slow, then it gives me an opportunity to truly focus in and listen, because when traffic is moving fast and there's a lot of cars, then I got to be aware of everything else that's going on, so not as much comes in. So traffic to me is perceived as something that gives me time to focus. So you can make traffic into whatever you decide. It can either be heaven or hell based on your perspective. When you get home, your life at home can be heaven or hell based on your perspective. So change the signals of what everything means to you. And the moment you change that signal, then that event, that thing changes. When you're building your company, when you're building your life, when you're at home with your husband, you're at home with your wife, you going out on a date, you're hanging out with friends, you're with your kids, you go to sporting events. All these things can have different signals, different meanings based on how you interpret the signal. So change the interpretation. You change the interpretation, you change your life. All right? Because it's going to change in your mind, and then it'll change in your action. So the more you do that, the better your life will be, and the better you will be. So this is your Coach Renz. Change your perspective. My greatness is non-negotiable, and so is yours.